Man. Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube? This is SCL0320 representing JVS. So this is going to be my review for a movie that I've been long overdue of watching. I'm talking about the movie Lady Bird. Coming of age story. This was directed by Greta Gerwig. Starring, I'm going to get her name so wrong, but I apologize. But Saoirse, Ronan, Laurie, Metcalf, Lucas Hedges, and Timothy Chalamet. The ironic thing about all four of these people that I just listed, either last year or this year, they're nominated for Academy Award. Timothy Chalamet is nominated for the movie with Armie Hammer, even though he was in this movie. Lucas Hedges for Manchester by the Sea, who did amazing in that. And then you got Laurie and Mrs. Ronan that are nominated for Lady Bird. And I gotta say, their relationship is so real. Like, what I mean by that is the organicness of how they function and thrive as a mother and a daughter is something that I could sit there and be like, I've seen this before. This seems real. It's not like, okay, we're gonna like have this Hollywood moment where this thing happens, or like, okay, this person's gonna get this epiphany and they change. Like, I think one of the most literal, amazing scenes is when Lady Bird and her mom are legit going and trying on dresses, and Lady Bird tries on this pink dress, she likes it, and her mom, the first thing that comes out of her mom is like something condescending, like, is it too pink? And Lady Bird responds back, why can't you just be okay with it? Why can't you just like me? And then she goes back and even reiterates with it, it's like, why don't you like me? And I mean, I think that the movie Fences hit home with me kind of the same way as this one, because Fences for me was something that, I mean, I come from the South. I come from, you know, certain circumstances where I'm like, man, this is real. These kind of conversations are seemingly real, even though it's coming from a play. Like, I can see and relate to this conversation. And even with these two people, these two amazing actresses, they're able to convey something to me that I was like, man. Because one of the things that Laurie, the mom, says early on in the movie, I know I'm kind of spoiling a little bit. I apologize. You should definitely go and check this movie out. But I think that even if you see it in the trailers, I don't think you're going to lose anything as far as weight behind it. One of the things that she talks to her about when Lady Bird gets upset with her is that she was like, Lady Bird was like, you know, haven't you ever just wanted to do this and do this as a kid, like, and not complain about this? And like, she was like, my mom was an abuser and an alcoholic. And it was like, yo, like, and that defines her character. If you don't catch that subtle moment, everything else she does, you won't pick up on it. You won't pick up that she's very much so a perfectionist, like analytical, critical, highly overcritical. Can't even really enjoy herself because she not just critical of, you know, Lady Bird, but of herself and what she does. And the ironic thing is that she interacts with people and helps people throughout their problems. Like, literally, that's what she does, you know what I'm saying? Not just a nurse, but she really helps people throughout their problems. But yet, she does that to try to project because she's got this internal turmoil within herself. And even, like, later on, her dad even says to Lady Bird, like, look, your mom loves you, but your mom can't even get out from this one specific situation to try to help. She doesn't know how to help you, and that hurts her on the inside. And I was like, that's crazy. But then the character Lady Bird is even more conflicting because she's not good at anything. It's like, it's not just like, you know how like you got these like superstar characters, you know, like, all right, this person is going to have this one trait, it's good at acting, or she's going to be good at writing, or she's going to be good at, you know, organizational skills, or she's going to have the same exact things that her mom has. She doesn't have any of those things. And what happens is, because her mom is not able to reflect and let her know, like, you are great, I like you, everything's good, so she turns to her dad. But you know, it's always that mother-daughter thing that shows like where you are going as a woman. And so for her, she's a pathological liar because she has to try to appease to feel at place. And that sounds crazy, but her friend, what's her friend's name? Oh my gosh. Julie, played by Beanie Philistine. I would have actually liked a little bit more of her. But I like the way they just kind of like ran it off. They didn't give me too much because that's not about, the story as an overarch. Either way, when her and Julie were conversating and stuff like that, like it seemed so organic, it seemed so natural, but eventually she just decides to desert Julie and like go and meet up with this cool girl because she wants to hang out with this cool guy, and then it's like expectation. It's not even like peer pressure. It's like you need to feel like you're at place. And part of that is because it reflects on who she sees in herself. Like, even when she goes and like goes into the teacher's location, takes the grades, just throws them joints out, like, look, this is who I am. And it's like, yo, like, she has no characteristics about her that makes her exceptional, other than the fact that she is a realist when it comes down to it. Like, at a eventual point, she's like, all right, yeah, I was a pathological liar. Like, look, this is where it is. But she's really just figuring it out. And that's why it makes it so well done as a story that's a coming of age story. Like, legit, like, when I got done looking at the movie, there was this one moment towards the end where Julie's mom, like, shuts her out, you know what I'm saying? And, like, Julie leaves. I'm not Julie, but Lady Bird leaves. And she goes in circles in the car, right? And like, that performance was amazing because she conveyed so many emotions and she kept it in. And I was just like, because we had seen like the parallel between the beginning of the story was like them two together in the car. And you know that they're about to hit these crossroads because they're already clashing, but you know that they love each other, but they can't really talk about it. And like in the beginning, you know what I'm saying, Lady Bird does something crazy. I don't want to spoil that. But when the mom is by herself and leaving, she's like, in her heart, I can feel like, there goes my best friend, there goes my daughter, there goes the person I need to protect, and I can't help. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, I feel all these emotions. And then Lady Bird, later on, she goes to this church when she gets to where she needs to be, and she leaves and has this conversation. It's like I'm feeling all these kind of things. I'm like, yo, I'm sitting there. I go back and recount to myself, and I know this is telling a little bit about myself. I normally don't do this, but this movie provokes testimony, in my personal opinion, because, you know what I'm saying, when I think about high school, like, when I went to prom for my high school, I didn't go with anybody. I got, invited with somebody I didn't want to go with, and then, I went, but I met up with the person that I wanted to dance with. But we didn't leave together. I legit left my prom and like went to the waterfront and just, chilled, listened to music, because my family situation, it wasn't so much about like, when I went to prom, like, all right, well, it's gonna be this, you're gonna have this relationship. It was a totally different family dynamic. So for me to go out and go to the waterfront and be in my car and listen to music and chilling, like, I embraced that. So I sat there, I was like, I'm connected to this moment with Julie and Lady Bird. I was like, man, I love this. Like when, Lady Bird is having this conversation with her mom and going this back and forth, I'm like, I can relate to these kind of conversations because this is real. This is, like, even like when she went and go away to college, like when I went to college, you know what I'm saying, and I was kind of just like taken back. When she had this conversation, I was talking to her dad over the phone, talking about like, she was really trying to talk to her mom. And she was talking about like her hometown and how like she drove in it for the first time. It was different than when she had walked around it or when her mom drove it. Like, it was like she was able to accept and feel all the beauty. And she couldn't really accept all of it until later on. And I'm getting to a point here. But for me, like, I remember going to college and like, I was like, man, there are some beautiful things in my small town that I'll miss. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't accept it until much later. You know what I'm saying? Even now, like, I'm not, it's different. Like, those moments, like, I always remember, and they take part of who I am. Because one of the biggest critical things about the movie to me was that Lady Bird tried to say, I need to get away from home. I want to be this. I want to be better than this person. I want to be the center of attention. But she had no idea, who she really is. She wasn't good at anything, And on top of that, like, she alienated everybody because of her pathological lying, you know, about everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like she had her friend Julie and she shut her out. You know, she had other friends, but they weren't really friends. There was even a moment where, Lucas Hedges has this interesting relationship with her. That whole relationship was built off of a lying foundation, you know? And then, like, the crazy thing I'll say that I think that her mom and her do have in common that I think is an asset, which is actually something good about Lady Bird, that she probably gets from her mom, is that after the fact of being able to forgive. I think that forgiveness is something that Lady Bird can definitely be able to do. As much as she bickered and, you know, acted out and did all these kind of things, like, the relationship between Danny and Lady Bird is, to me, a testament of her able to forgive. Her being able to relate. Because Danny's situation, that's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never would know. You know, but it happened. And when he broke down on her, I was like, yo, that's crazy. You know, and it feels real. And for me to be able to rant about this, it's almost like, you know, I took a detour into Sacramento, California, chilled and just kind of like went with the camera crew and just walked around with like these characters for a while and just watched their lives. Like legit. And even in the 2000s, like the music selections, like the dress, the way that people dressed and the way that things were. And even like from a Catholic school standpoint, I mean, I don't want to go too much into that, but it's very much so accurate, in my personal opinion. So, as a film, and I was able to convey it, how I was able to act, I can see why this was definitely rated one of the highest movies this year. This gave me the same exact feeling that me, Earl and the Dying Girl gave me emotionally, as much as a coming-of-age story that, you know, I think it's an interesting testament. It's like, to me, it was definitely better than Manhood or Boyhood, because it felt so organically real. Not just from the standpoint of time, but from what things were happening. So, I mean, I don't know what to give this a rating. I don't want to just give it a 10, just to say it's a 10, but it can't be anything lower. I'm going to give it a range. How about that? 9 to 10. A 9 to a 10 is where this would stand. I don't know. I feel like over time, if I sit there and looked at this with my wife, she would love it, and we would probably bring it up to a 10. If I looked at this over time by myself, like I'd probably get 9.5, or I might leave it at 9. But as a movie, it is very good. It is very well acted. It's very organic. It's very natural. And I think it's very interesting that I would wait tonight, which is the night that is the 75th annual Golden Globes, to watch this film, because for sure, man, the mom could either get nominated for me, and as well as old girl Ronan, she could get nominated as well. Or not nominated, they could both win. But either way, hope y'all enjoyed this review. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Lady Bird is a good time. Definitely go check it out. Peace, guys.